There are two cover-ups. The one I have just mentioned, which continues because the Vatican will not allow unrestricted reporting, and twice now, in January and just last week, the United Nations has criticised the Church for resisting unrestricted reporting. In fact, they have insisted, if they want to be party to the conventions for the protection of the child and the Convention Against Torture, that it should not only be unrestricted reporting, but mandatory reporting of all complaints. The last I read was the Vatican said it would think about it. But there is a second cover-up, and it started after the election of Benedict XVI. It involves trying to hide the role of canon law in the cover-up and the 6 popes who were uniquely responsible for it. You'll have to remember, and even Cardinal Pell has said this, the Church is the last of the absolute monarchies. The Pope can get his napkin out of breakfast and write a decree and say, that's it, put it on the Acta Apostolicae Sedis, and that's the law. He's not affected by any constitution, nothing. He can do it tomorrow. Now, after the election of Pope Benedict XVI, as I said, there was this attempt, and still is going on now, this attempt to hide the role of canon law. The pontifical secret is never mentioned in the 150-page submission made by the Church to the Victorian Parliamentary Inquiry, nor in the 206-page, supposedly warts and all, submission to the current Royal Commission. These submissions follow the example laid down by Pope Benedict XVI in his pastoral letter to the people of Ireland in March 2010. Blame the bishops for the cover-up, apologise to the victims, but do not mention the pontifical secret imposed, maintained and expanded by 6 popes since 1922. And don't mention the role of the popes, and a lot of my book is about this, in rendering canon law useless for dismissing these priests. There are theological reasons for the second cover-up, which I've explained in the book. But the end result is that the Church is still not facing the truth. There are some amusing sides to this, and you'll read many of them in the book. The Vatican's frequent use of mental reservation to mislead, and several occasions Orwellian attempts to rewrite history, and worst of all, turning canon law, the oldest continuing legal system in the Western world, into Humpty Dumpty law. Humpty Dumpty, you might recall, told Alice in Wonderland that words will mean whatever I choose them to mean, neither more nor less. I finish off the book with a reference to what Gabriel Garcia Marquez said about one of the oldest and most brilliant plays ever written, Sophocles' Oedipus the King. It's about a man who had the courage to face up to the mounting evidence of an unpalatable truth. The Church called the submission to the Victorian Parliamentary Inquiry Facing the Truth, and it's about time it did. The Royal Commission will soon be calling for submissions on reporting to the civil authorities. This book is a challenge to the Australian Church to face its own unpalatable truth and to acknowledge the biggest wart of all in the saga of the cover-up, the pontifical secret imposed by 6 popes through canon law since 1922. Now, I take back everything I said about canaloric and telephone books. This is really a fascinating and also very disturbing story. And there are many people I have to thank for their assistance, and I've mentioned them in the acknowledgement. I particularly thank ATF Press, and in particular, my friend Michael Mucci for his evocative, some might say provocative cover. And thank you all for coming.